anything I can do to assist with your research? So I said, well, why don't you go up to Glen Rose, Texas, to Paluxy River, where these alleged human and dinosaur footprints are to be found, and tell me what you think. So actually she went and did that. She was a graduate student of archaeology. She went up there, and she met some of the researchers there, and it so happened they were doing some new excavations. So they were conducting new excavations. They were finding more footprints, and she took photographs, and she gathered reports, and her reporting back to me was that as far as she could tell, they were genuine human footprints. So she sent me all the reporting and the photographs and things, and I looked them over myself. And I'm going to write about this case in the new book that I've got, because I think I've got better reasons now to think that they might be genuine than I did when I was putting the first book together. So those footprints would be about 100 million years old.
Oh, my gosh.
And now, if that was the only thing that was around at that time, the only evidence that there was, then, well, maybe you could question it. But in Forbidden Archaeology, I've pointed out that you've got not just a few cases from around that time. You've got all kinds of cases of evidence of human beings from before the time of the dinosaurs, during the time of the dinosaurs, after the time of the dinosaurs. So maybe just by itself, the case could be questioned. But when you put it in the context of human skeletal remains, other human footprints, human artifacts going back to the same period of time and even before that, it begins to make a lot more sense.
Okay, let's go to the phones with Michael Cremo. We'll pick it up by going west of the Rockies. Hi there. You're on Coast to Coast.
Yes, this is James from Grand Junction, Colorado.
Hello, James. Thanks for calling.
Michael, I have a story that my family have told to me from the time I was a little kid, and it sounds fantastic, but it's true. Marble, Colorado, the Ewell Marble Quarry up there, where the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier Monument came from.
How do you spell that, Ewell Quarry?
I think it's with a Y.
Okay.
Like Ewell Tide,
Okay. Okay, got it.
Okay, anyway, they quarried out a big block of marble, like they did every day, I guess, and put it on the tram, and it came down on the tracks and went to the mill down in town there. And when they were cutting this big block of marble in two, they cut a man right in half. And when they folded the blocks apart, there was each half of the man in each block.
Amazing.
And the museum, I guess, from Denver said it was impossible, so they didn't want it. It was kind of like you told,
Knowledge filtering.
And it sat in the mill foreman's office for years, I guess, and that's the last I heard, because our family ties were from the Singletons that lived there in town, and they passed away, and this was probably in the 20s and 30s era there.
Do you know if there were any written reports about it?
I really don't know, but I bet you, that if you get a hold of that company, it's still in existence, because I think, didn't they just replace the monument again?
Well, I'm not sure about that, but it's a good lead, and the name, you don't know the exact name of the company.
Well, it's called the Colorado Ewell Marble Quarry. I've already found that.
Okay.
So you can do a Google search for that and a whole bunch of things. The original Colorado Ewell Marble Company operated from 1905 until 1941, but it's still out there.
Well, that's, as I said, sometimes this is how I learn about these cases, and I'm grateful for this lead, and I'll try to follow up on it.
Well, thank you very much, and I know it's true because I heard it from all my family.
Because normally, marble, that's got to be tens of millions of years old.
Yeah, and you wouldn't think it would be possible, would you?
Well, I wouldn't have thought so perhaps many, many years ago, but now I'm quite prepared to believe it's possible.
All
Okay,
right. Well,
very
listen,
good.
Thanks
a lot,
much.
James. That's great.
Appreciate you being part of the program. Next up, Wildcard Line, you're on Coast to Coast with us with Michael Cremo. Hi there.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Well, nice to talk to you guys.
Thank you.
I've noticed that even as late as last semester, writing a paper, I'm a archaeology, anthropology student, that I was still receiving heat for challenging the Clovis first issue. I thought it had died decades ago, but apparently not. I don't want to name the professor. I'm at a nationally ranked university, and even including, Monteverde, Metacroft, the Topper site, there may be some clinical errors, but they still seem to be grasping at that immovable stone of Clovis first, when it looks like there's just undeniable evidence that the North American, South American, this hemisphere was populated well prior to, the 11,500-year-old rock-hard date that's established in, everyone's mind. I just wondered if you had any suggestions.
And tell us about Clovis first, if you would.
Well, I'll do that. Clovis is a place where some spearheads, stone spearheads, arrowheads were discovered in the 1930s, and they became that's how a lot of artifacts are named after the place where they're found. So, according to most archaeologists, those are the earliest evidence of a human presence in North America. As the listener was saying, they go back about 11 or 12,000 years. So the standard doctrine is there are no pre-Clovis humans in North America. In other words, there weren't any humans in North America until the time of these Clovis artifacts, which go back about 11 or 12,000 years. But as the listener was mentioning, there are some cases where some archaeologists at Meadowcroft, which is in the eastern United States, have found artifacts that go back perhaps 20,000 years. Now, that's not really so radical, but even that minor deviation, just pushing it back a few thousand years, is being resisted by the supporters of these no pre-Clovis idea, the idea that there are no humans in North America any earlier than about 11, 12,000 years ago. Now, of course, I mentioned earlier in the show the California gold mine discoveries. They go back 50 million years. But there was an interesting case from Mexico, where some American archaeologists discovered human artifacts at a place called Huayalaco, and then some geologists from the United States Geological Survey were called to go down there and date the site. One of them was Virginia Steen McIntyre. She and her colleagues used 4 methods to date the site. They did uranium series dating on bones that were found along with the artifacts. They did zircon fission track dating on layers of volcanic ash that were found above the artifacts. They came up with an age of 250,000 years for this site. This was in the 1970s, and there's new work going on down there right now that's confirming these dates. And you will not see this mentioned in any of the textbooks. The archaeologists who were involved said that's impossible. Human beings weren't present in North America 250,000 years ago. They weren't even present anywhere in the world 250,000 years ago. The current theory is that humans like us came into existence about 100 or 150,000 years ago in Africa. So to have this evidence in North America at 250,000 years was just considered impossible because it violated this nobody was present before the Clovis artifacts idea that the listener was just mentioning. And I think he's experiencing himself, a little bit about how this knowledge, filtering process works.